Good morning and welcome back. On foot this morning, actually on my way to the ferry. So if Jesse's watching, I don't have to wear that silly scarf that I have on my head all the time. Just the silly hair I have on my head all the time. But the barber's open today, so maybe there's hope for the future. Now, today's message from Mull is keep your eyes on the prize. And I'm going to be honest, I've sort of stolen this concept from a little bit of research I was doing on the internet, which is something we at Healthy Options do periodically, just to sort of keep ourselves abreast of recent research. And this little piece of research sparked my attention really, and I thought I would share it with you. And it sort of relates to behaviour change, which is a topic that we cover a lot on the message from Mull. Now, the research revolved around how we see the world differently. Each of us sees the world in a different way, depending on many things: our upbringing, our culture, the state of our body at that current time, our level of fitness, our understanding, our knowledge, many different things, where we live, our environment, and that's quite true when you look at even people that are going through certain sort of strategies in their life. So dieters, for example, will see apples as bigger than somebody who's not counting calories. And you can also link that back to sport-specific stuff. So, for example, when a golfer is in a rich vein of form, the hole appears bigger to him. People like say cricketers, the ball would look bigger when it's coming towards them. And those that are suffering with a sort of slump in form, the ball will look smaller. And for the golfer, the hole will look smaller. They'll feel under more pressure and they'll be more anxious about actually fulfilling the needs of the sport. And these researchers thought that might be quite interesting to look at how that affects our relationship with health and fitness, and whether we perceive exercise, for example, as being actually more difficult depending on how we see the world through our own mind's eye. So what they had a little look at was a group of people, and they measured their waist to hip ratio. Now that's a method that we use in our industry for determining a sort of sense of health and well-being. So those that are more overweight, that will obviously show up on a waist to hip ratio compared to those that are in better condition in general. And what they found was that after showing people an image of a finish line, and they had asked them to carry a certain weight from where they were to a finish line, and they asked them to estimate the distance to the finish line. So, for example, the distance it would take you to get from where you are at the minute to your goal, whatever your specific goal is. And those that were a little bit more out of shape always perceived the finish line to be further away than those who were in better condition. And they thought that was quite interesting. So they furthered the research and they had a little look at whether motivation played a part in that, which you would think it obviously would. And what they also found then was that people that are highly motivated, regardless of their condition, also perceive that finish line to be closer. Basically, for the goal to be more attainable, which gives a lot of credit really to the fact that if we can generate a higher level of motivation and enthusiasm towards the goals that you have set yourself, then you're much more likely to achieve them, and you will not see them as so difficult. And I just thought it's a really interesting concept that those who are maybe less in shape and have become a little bit deconditioned over the years will psychologically feel that their goals are further away. And that kind of makes sense in terms of how difficult it is sometimes to motivate people to change their behaviour. Now, another really interesting piece of that research was that they took a group of people who were motivated, and this is where the keep the eye on the prize bit comes in. They then showed them a picture of the finish line, And with one group, they blurred out everything else except the finish line. And they asked people to look at that and focus on the goal at the end. With another group, they showed them the whole picture. So it was a picture of a park, and there was a rubbish can, there was people milling around, sort of a general park scene. Basically, that would take their focus away from the finish line as well. And then they asked them to perceive the distance. And again, those that had everything else blurred out, a kind of tunnel vision approach to their goal, they perceived not only that the distance was closer, i.e. it was more attainable, but they also put them through a little test where they loaded them up with extra weight and asked them to walk to that goal. And they found that not only did people find the task easier, 17% easier, they achieved the walking distance 23% faster. Now, again, this is sort of lab conditioned stuff, but I just thought that's really incredible. And even if in real life those percentages aren't that high, it shows us that if we set our goals and we can stay motivated and enthusiastic towards those goals, and they sit high enough on our priority scale, we are far more likely, A, to get there, B, we're going to get there faster, and C, it's not going to feel as hard. So the key is define what is important to you, set those goals, write them down. We've talked about this before. If you write down your goals, you're far more likely to attain them. Try to stay focused on the goals you've set yourself, that tunnel vision. Try to set times aside in your daily routine where you can get that tunnel vision going, where that is the most important thing. And getting that done on the days that you've set yourself to train is the most important thing. Get it done. Try to get it done early as well. Those that train early in the morning, the percentages that are far higher in terms of adherence to that exercise. So you're more likely to keep it going if you do it early in the morning, especially when you have time set aside for you. It's probably the time of day when we have the most control over what we do. I wish I had more control over the midge on Mull, but unfortunately I don't. But it's always been a time that I've trained to get it done, and then for the rest of the day I'm safe in the knowledge that has been carried out. So we all see the world in a different way. We all see the world differently through our own mind's eye, but it just means that we see things differently, and we just need to really focus in and get our goals in those crosshairs, things that are important to us. So define what's important to you and reward yourself once you get there too, which is very important. Not with food, obviously, not with McDonald's if it's just opened up, but try to make sure that when you start achieving some of these goals that you reward yourself with something, again, that's important to you, and that will help to keep that enthusiasm and that motivation going. And I'm off to get my ferry, and hopefully I will catch up with you fairly soon. Stay safe, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.